Hello, my name is Amber and welcome to my corner.
In this video, I'm going to walk through how to make a pop art portrait. Here's an example of a pop art painting that I did of myself with my little cheesy smile. This is the style that I'm going to be going for the other one. And so first thing you want to do is find the picture of what you want. You definitely want a photograph so you can print it, especially if you are a beginner painter. That's what I'm making this video for, my beginners out there. The outline of your image is the most important part. So find the picture that you want. This is one of my good friends. Split it up into boxes that you measure accurately. So if you're trying to do 12 boxes like I did, I printed my portrait onto an 8x11 piece of paper. So 8 divided by the 3 across would be 2.7 inches. The 11 divided by the 4 down that I want is going to be 2.75 inches, and that's how large my boxes are going to be. And you want to make sure that's accurate, whatever amount that you choose. And you're going to have to do the same thing with your canvas. So I have a 16 by 20 canvas, and I'm going to divide that 16 by 3 and the 20 by 4. So the piece of paper you have has to be accurate, each box the same size, and then on your canvas, that grid you make has to be each box the same size. Once you get your boxes, you can put it in your sketch much easier, and you'll just follow each box one at a time. Instead of thinking about it as a whole face, you just think about it as each box, and when they fit together, it should look very real. So first things first, before all the really cool pop art colors and patterns, we need to just take away that whole grid. So you get your outline on there, and then just with regular white paint, I'm using all acrylics for this painting, by the way, you're going to paint over your grid, and it won't be 100%, but the next consecutive colors will cover that grid 100%. No one will know that that was underneath. It's just a helpful tool for beginners to paint portraits. And you could use this for a more realistic style too. I like to do it for this pop art especially though, because the only thing that really makes it look like the person in the pop art style is that outline, because then the colors are gonna start to go a little nuts. Before we do the person at all, you want to just get your background. That way any of the hair, the shoulders that are going to overlap the background can make that line really sharp and cover up any parts that might have overlapped your person. So start with background, and I like to do the style that I did on my original one. Pop art can be many things. You know, you could do one solid neon color. That's a good way. I like to do these vertical stripes and then polka dots of the same colors, just kind of mix and matching where those polka dots are over the top. So vertical stripes, different shades, and then my little polka dots. And for my color palette, I wanted these paintings to kind of be of the same style but different. So on my original one of myself, I had more orange and yellow, and then this one I'm doing more pink and purple. So you can play around with that. But yeah, other styles, I would say one solid background with a lighter colored polka dot. That would look cool, very pop art. Or a solid neon. You want to try to keep it simple, a little monochromatic, and something very bright. That's the pop. And as a final touch, I like to add splatter paint all over the background. I think that looks really cool. And you would definitely want to do that before you're painting in the body at all. So now I'm about to move into the face, and the way you'll work the face with a pop art painting is dark to light. I like to do that in general if I can, because the highlights usually sit on top and then you can kind of thin out shadows a little more naturally. But I'm going to work dark to light. The darkest color is just black, plain old black paint, and you want to only go into the deepest shadows. Now I have my gridded picture that I printed. It's right above the canvas, so I'm looking at that as a reference for what are the actual darkest shadow areas, not just all my outlines. Just because it's an outline doesn't mean it's the darkest shadow area. So you're gonna have, I kind of do it in levels. I have 3 darker colors you'll put on first, and then 3 lighter colors to make everything pop. But because I have 3 sort of shadow colors, I don't want to just fill all the shadows just black, because I'm going to start with black. Okay, second shadow color, I'm going to do a dark grayish blue, and then that third one, next level up, is a purple. So each one gets brighter, a little bit brighter than the last. So just the actual darkest one. In this picture, she is wearing black glasses. I could have changed that to the blue one, so that's definitely an option. And so you can play around, especially with pop art. I could have been like, those are pink glasses now, but I kind of stuck with the true shadows on that picture. So I do black, a blue mix, and purple. Those are going to be my first 3 shadow colors. You can't quite see it, but I am using 2 brushes, so that was that little pause there. I rinsed out my tiny brush that I did all the things on the face, and I'm getting my medium-sized brush that I can come into the hair, maybe the shirt, and stuff like that. But I will start to use that medium brush on the face as well as my highlights and shadows get a little bigger. And as far as where to put the shadows, because we have these 3 shadow colors, right? So the black is the darkest areas, you're going to follow your picture, and then each subsequent shadow color, if you're running out of placements from the actual image, just go right next to the previous shadow. So as I move to blue, blue will go a little bit more outside the black, purple will go a little more outside the blue, sticking mostly around the outlines. The outlines are the deepest shadows. That's how you can see a line is from a shadow next to something bright that creates a little line. So yeah, if your actual picture is really bright and you're running out of ideas where to put shadow, just keep going right outside that previous shadow that was next to a line. Alright, now we're in hyperspeed! For the teeth on your pop art painting, you really want to pay attention to your original photo with the shadow step, because that's how I'm really going in and making the shapes of her teeth look true to her, because you don't want to just draw random squares. So, some of hers are a little pointy and, some are more flat, so I'm really trying to look exactly what hers are. It's a unique characteristic that each person has, and that makes it look more like them too. Also, in the shadow steps, when you pay attention to that, because I'm just going to fill them all in white. It's pop art. I'm going to be like, pop, pop, they're white. I don't want to do like, some shade of gray or yellow shadows. They're just going to be bam, popping white. And so that's the other reason. So really get the shape well with the darker colors, and we'll just do white at the very end when we're doing those highlights. Okay, we got our 3 shadow colors. Now we're moving into our 3 highlight colors, but it actually ended up being 4. I finished it with the 3 I'm about to say, and then I added another one. But I went pink, orange, light yellow. Those are my 3 highlight colors. And then the 4th one I end up adding in is just a slightly darker pink. I felt like my pink wasn't dark enough, and so I kind of darkened some at the very end. But if you go a little darker with your pink, this shadow works even better. So looking at what I'm doing, it is a little too soon, I think, to be being this soft. So yeah, I would go a little darker, maybe hot pink paint if you have that, and then orange and a light yellow. You want it to still have a yellow tone. If you're going for this look, I wouldn't go as bright as white, but that would be a more like dramatic, shiny effect. So you could definitely just do a light of some color. I like the moving cool to warm as I get lighter, and so that's why I went with light yellow. So right here I came in and I put those orange highlights, in the like next layer of where my face is just getting a little brighter. But then I made these oblong shapes. You want ovals, all rounded, funky shapes to just make a smooth area where the highlight is going to be, your final highlight. So it looks almost like a paint by number. We actually see the lines of the gradient moving outwards from that highlight. We don't want it to be smooth blended, right? It's like a target, just these stripes, but in that oblong shape of the cheek, the nose, forehead, usually chin, depending on the picture. But you look at your picture and you say, where is it super, super bright? And then you're gonna make a little ovally shape to be the brightest thing. So now I'm coming in with that light yellow after the orange and the pink to just fill in that spot. And actually, after I did this, it does look brighter than everything else, but I felt like it wasn't as bright as I wanted that. I did want a little more drama, so I go back in with an even lighter yellow and go on top of it in a second. But how it is now is okay. Sometimes it's a trial and learning process. So, you kind of lean back, study it like I'm doing, and then you see, do you want to go brighter? Do you want to go darker? You can kind of feel it out. Sometimes you have to see all the colors on the face next to each other to know. For the highlights in the eyes, do not guess. Put it exactly where it is in the photograph. Don't guess. There's the chance of cross-eyed, wonky eye. Just put it exactly where you see it. It's much easier that way. Now coming into the shirt, this is the final thing I decided to put on before I do any last little details. And the color, what I would do is, if you did a pattern in your background, like I did the polka dots, then do a solid, bright colored shirt. And if you did a solid background, I would do a pattern shirt. So either you could do, very similar hued stripes, or you could do the same polka dot method on the shirt. But I would do them kind of opposite. If you really wanted both to be smooth, I would make sure those colors are completely different to match this effect that we want. So, if the background's pink, maybe the shirt's gonna be like neon blue, or something very intense the opposite way. We go warm on one, go cool on the other, something like that. And then I try to keep it simple, but I did do just a little shadow, so I went in with a little darker color. And I ended up doing a second coat after I was done filming because I couldn't get it to lay exactly how I wanted. And the neon colors are always thin. They just come thin. So you gotta just wait for it to dry and be patient. And second coat is what you'll see in my final image. And for that extra pop, I do those solid black outlines. So I like black outlines around the shirt, and I did it in the neckline. And then I did some little guides. I decided I'm gonna make the hair more full when that shirt dries. I decided, so that's what those lines are. There's where I'm gonna move the hair out to for the final image. Alright, so I've been doing this darker pink for a minute, but I mentioned that earlier, and you can tell that really pulled it all together. That soft pink I did before, it wasn't quite it. So now I have 2 shades of pink, light yellow, orange, and purple, the hazy blue, black. Those are all the colors I used for the face. So pretty much you're sticking to a pastel or neon rainbow is your goal for the pop art, and just work dark to light. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I encouraged at least one person to try painting who has not ever done it before. See you next time in Amber's Art Corner.